Are you sick of playing with the painful 7800 Proline controllers?
There's gotta be a better way!
Baby, it's time to ride the funk train, and we are up here on the mothership. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be reviewing some product here that was sent to us. Our buddies in Germany sent us these awesome aftermarket controllers, the Turbo 2000 Supers. Now, these things are wireless. You can map them to your preference. They have turbo. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And we're going to be taking a look at these bad boys from Commotron. So let's see what they got to say.
Hola, childs. It's time for Funkmaster V's getting hip with the Atari 7800. Where Funkmaster V, musician, ghost hunter, hat flipper, pro wrestler, and comedian takes you on a tour of all things cool about the Atari 7800. Are you ready to get your groove on? Because it's about to get funky up in here.
These things come in 4 different styles. They sent me one that is this black wood grain Atari 2600 looking guy here. Very sexy. That's probably my favorite. And they sent me another one here that's got the rainbow on it. And I incorrectly assumed that was a 7800 graphic or style. But that's actually, upon further review, a lot of the European 2600s had that look. In fact, that looks like the metal plate on some of those. They got 2 more styles. Nothing beats the wood grain, though. And so when you open these boxes up here, this is what comes with it. You get one controller, of course. And then you get this guy that sticks into the Atari 7800. Now, this thing also works for Commodore, Atari computers, the ZX Spectrum, the 7800, the 2600. And you stick this guy in here, and it comes with an instruction book. And to be honest, you need the instruction book because there's a lot of stuff going on in here. You can map buttons, you can select certain layouts, you can assign turbos to whichever button you want, but it kind of takes some work. And also, if you're going to pair this thing, you got to figure out how to do that too. So we'll get into all that. You plug the wireless part into the 7800 there, and you can kind of see it blinking. That means it's searching for its long-lost lover, or it's just searching for the gamepad. And if you have the gamepad here from Commotron, all you got to do to sync it up, bada boom, you hold auto, and immediately this thing syncs up. You see the little button here, means it's ready to rock. Now, let's select easy, because this game is stupid hard.
We're going to start off with Sirius. I love this game. This is one of the best games on the system and definitely one of the best shooters. It's an unreleased prototype for the 7800, and you can buy that online in several different places, I think, right now. Good Deal Games is one of them. And we're checking this out because shooters are important for systems that are compatible with these gamepads. And the turbo seems to be working good. Turbo is very important. Games like this, it'll save your thumbs, especially at our ages, and it will also save your controllers. All you have to do is hit auto, and it rocks and rolls. The only caveat here is since this gamepad has 4 different presets, you may have to horse around with which button actually is the turbo. But that shouldn't take too long, and it's easy to change the presets. Also, you can change which button is the turbo, and that is included in the instruction booklet, and it's pretty easy to do. So, turbo looks good. These shooters look good. Let's move on to the next game. The next title that we're going to try out here is one of the best games in the entire 7800 library. It's a homebrew by Pac-Man Plus. His friends call him Bob De Crescenzo. His best friends call him Big Bobby D. Now, this is a great platformer, a run and gunner, beautiful, cute, great music, yada, yada, yada. Everybody knows all about this game. Now, the thing about this one, though, and this is why I wanted to check it out with these Super Turbo 2000s here, is the controls can get a little wonky if you don't read the instruction book. because Bob included a couple different ways to control Bentley Bear. One is a 2600 mode where you just have to push up and the button shoots. But if you have a 7800 control scheme activated, by the way, you can check out the difficulty switches section on the website Atari7800forever.com, which sponsors this video and has every game reviewed. You make sure your difficulty switches are lined up to make sure you're controlling Bentley Bear the way you want to control him. Now, Bentley Bear can do three things. He can run, he can shoot, and he can do a super jump. Now, there's only two buttons. With the 7800 controller, you have to do the super jump by hitting both buttons at the same time, called chording. Now, on a control pad like this, it's very important to have the fire button and the jump button together, because you got to press them together to make them super jump. Now, it took me a while to figure out how I could get the buttons where I wanted them, but after about 30 seconds, and I'm really kind of slow with this kind of stuff, I was able to get the fire button and the jump button together so I could do these super jumps with Bentley Bear, which you got to do in this game. Again, mission accomplished. You can play these things perfectly with the Turbo 2000 Supers. However, Bob created this control scheme with the 7800 Pro Line controllers in mind, so that may be a preferred way to play. But if you absolutely hate the Pro Line controllers, these Turbo 2000 Supers are going to sate that platform jumping appetite you got buried deep inside of your heart. So when you turn the game off here, there's a little light that goes crazy on top of the gamepad. That means it's still searching for the dongle. And I was sitting there like, oh my God, turn this damn thing off. Is there an on-off switch? It's going to suck the batteries dry because I'm an old man. But if you wait a few seconds, this thing will eventually shut off. So there is no on-off switch for this, which would be an unneeded switch. So it's kind of cool. See, there it went to sleep. All right, next game. Nothing too complicated or crazy with this one. This is Commando. I wanted to play a game that most 7800 people have played or are familiar with. This is a game that requires two buttons. So all you got to do is find the preset. And you can also, since this is a shooting game, Turbo works on this too. And the Turbo is working perfectly. All we got to do is make sure the hand grenade works. And this will get a thumbs up. I believe there's a dude up here we can blow away with a hand grenade of justice. Look at that, you commie bastard. And now we're rocking and rolling, and we're saving America and freedom and democracy and hot dogs in the name of the Lord. Yeah, this works good for this. So if you're a Commando fan, this controller... Oh, let's go save some heroes. This controller, thumbs up on this game too. Actually, it took me a while to come up with a video game that people would know that wasn't a shooter, that wasn't a homebrew, that required two buttons. That's harder to come up with than you think. Most of the Atari 7800 sports games are abysmal, but Basketbrawl is great, and I love this game. And there's some actually complicated stuff you have to do with the two buttons. One, you have to hold a button down to beam people with the basketball. So we're going to see how well this works. Again, it's going to take me a few minutes to figure out which preset I want to use. And it always takes me a while to kind of remember how to punch, pass, throw, beam somebody, and jump. But give me a few seconds here. Yep, I'm hitting the wrong damn button. There we go. Eat that knuckle sandwich, fool. And let's see if I can call for the basketball. Interception. You're fired, Simon. You're a nerd. But yeah, I can actually punch people pretty well. All right, we're going to fast forward to where I figured out how to beam people again. You hold down the R button. I missed like a jabron, but at least it worked. Seems like everything's working out very well, except for Bruiser's nose. Suck it. Yeah, eat that basketball. So, man, I like how this feels in this game, too. This actually feels like an NES game, and I got a lightning bolt for my trouble.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, these things are a viable option. If you are a fan of the old NES controller, which a lot of people are, you're going to love these. There's a lot of more options, actually, than with the original NES controller. it's definitely a lot more comfortable than the Pro lines. I did drop one of these earlier and it quit working, and I was like, oh God, but it actually made one of the little batteries in the back loose, and after I adjusted it, it was perfectly fine. These things seem to be built pretty good. You know, if I'm going to, I always want to be honest, if I'm going to say anything about it, you need the instruction books that come with these things, because it's a little strange trying to figure out the mapping on this. I feel like sometimes it doesn't work right. Maybe I'm not holding the button down long enough, but the turbos seem to work pretty well. And it's just a good damn controller. I mean, I'm going to start using it more and more. The other thing I would say, if I was going to give it a negative, is that I never was a fan of these. I always thought the box edges on these things were uncomfortable. Now, I'm in a vast minority. Most people love the NES controller, and everybody seems to like this design better than the Pro lines, and I would have to agree, as much as I like joysticks. So I would give this a massive thumbs up. You know, you're not tethered to the machine. There's tons of mapping options. There's turbos on this. It's compatible to a lot of different machines, and it looks cool. So, my fellows in Germany, Gesundheit. This is an awesome controller. I'm going to use it a whole lot, and you should be proud of yourselves. Give yourselves a pat on the back, you know. It's better than any joystick I've ever made in my life.
After I did the video and I was editing it, I realized there were 3 things about this controller that I whiffed on that I want to touch on very briefly. I know this is a long video for a controller review, but number 1, wireless play, perfect. I got out of the room and I was controlling the Atari 7800 from about 8 or 9 feet away. No lag whatsoever, bada boom, wonderful. Number 2, it pairs super fast. You remember trying to play Wii Sports with Grandma, trying to get the damn remotes to pair up. Totally horse pucky. But with this, it pairs up almost instantaneously. Fantastic. The other thing I think is the coolest thing about this is they include, with some of these presets, a jump button. Now, what does that mean? If you're playing a game, like on the Atari 2600, for example, where up is jump, there is an up function mapped to a button. So you can actually, this controller actually turns Atari 2600 games, some of them, into 2-button games. You can push up and to the left and the right and guide the thing like you actually have 2 buttons on an Atari 2600 gamepad. It's crazy. All right, here's the link where you can buy these things. Go buy them, give them lots of money, tell them that I sent you, and I get a free back rub from a German woman named Helga.